Hey guys, Rochelle here with Amethyst Ascension. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I'm going to be doing the Elemental Foundations hashtag. I'm going to be focusing on the fire portion, the fire element today. That's why I have you down here so that you can see my candles, right? That's one part of it. And I have candles all around my room. So I am going to, this is a hashtag that was created for the month of November, and I'm just like really behind. Hopefully I can get caught up. But this was started by the beautiful star over at the Wild Witch channel. As I said, it's hashtag Elemental Foundations, and today I am working on the element of fire, and I'm also going to be enjoying my hot coffee. So let me move this camera up ahead and we'll get started. So I will be putting a link over to Star's fire video on here. So be sure to follow that over if you haven't seen any of these. There have been several people that have done these already, and it's never too late to jump in at any point that you want to jump in, okay? So what she has here is a bunch of prompts, questions for us, and you can answer what you want, what you don't want. These prompts are over in the Facebook group, the Divination and Spirituality Facebook group. So you can get all of them over there if you'd like. So the first question is, in what ways do you recognize the qualities of the elemental energy of fire? So I see fire as a creative source, okay? Like this, okay? My decks, my creations, right? But they're not necessarily the whole bit of it. It's creativity itself. It's that spark. So obviously there's other, well, not obviously, but there are other elements that you have to combine in order to create the final product. But it is that spark that really starts the whole thing. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of some of my creations, considering that's how I see this particular element, right? I see it as that moment of ignition. See it as that spark, sudden ideas, downloads, visions. Let me zoom in. I see it as enthusiasm, momentum. It's that urge to begin, right? Before you know how it's going to end, it's that spark. So now as like spirit or soul, I kind of like, as above, so below, as within, so without. When I think of the sun, I think of like our solar plexus, our spirit, our soul, okay? Divine breath turned, it's like that breath of life, I see it as inner truth that cannot be denied or extinguished, I should say. I think it is that thing that separates us from the living and the dead. It's that momentum. It's that energy. I see, as energy. I see it as vitality. I see it as our libido, our drive. It could be our metabolism, the way that we digest things. It's our passion. It's courage, right? I feel like it's our motivation. It's initiation. I believe it's like leadership. I believe it's like risk taking. And I'm also thinking of like astrological signs. And I am a Sagittarius. Granted, I am a Sagittarius Capricorn cusp. So my creativity, because they say that, which I don't always fall for this either, but they do say that Sagittarians have a lot of different interests and they're enthusiastic and they're positive and they've always got tons of ideas, but they don't follow through as much. Well, I think I can also thank my Capricorn, because I'm a cusper, true sidereal astrology. So that gives me what I need in order to take an idea and see it through to fruition. I'm a highly productive person because I love to create. It's how I express myself. Hence, sorry, I'm so bad at this. Let me take a drink really quick. If you got a coffee, take a sip. Or if you have anything to drink, take a sip. So, I don't even remember where I was. Yeah, intention creates through pure will. That I see as fire. Our intention, our passion, our desire, that's what I see as fire. But my Capricorn sun also helps me to like channel that fire, because fire, it's like I also think of like the phoenix. So I think of burning through death, burning through, but then resurrection from that. So like destruction and rebirth is fire. It goes through and it just purifies everything. It only reveals the truth, right? Fire burns off everything else that doesn't matter anymore. I truly see it like that. It destroys what's false and it reveals whatever survives. So, incense ritual. It's not gentle. It is very honest. It clears dead ground, burns away illusion, and it forces rebirth, right? So the ways in nature that I see fire is like the sun and or solar force, right? I also think of like Sagittarius, like I am. I think of Leo, and I think of Mars. I think of Aries, absolutely Aries. Lightning, like wildfires, anything that is heated, light, like illuminated, right? Volcanoes. That's what creates like our earth. More earth is volcanoes, right? Yeah, I see it as passion. I see it as anger. I see it as joy. I see it as desire. I see it as rage that can demand truth, right? I see it as the awareness turned external, like the I am. It is the observer who decides. I do see it as like purpose, that thing that drives us, right? So, let's see what the next question is. How do I connect with the fire energy in my daily life? Okay, so I create so much, okay? But like creation is like my life force. As somebody that is a Sagittarius sun, not just that, I have 4 of my planets are in my 5th house, which is ruled by the sun, okay? And it's based off of Leo. And it's all about self-expression. It's about creativity. It's about passion. All that, okay? I have my Mars in my 5th house. I have my Jupiter in my 5th house. I have Neptune in my 5th house. I have Venus, love, you know, in my 5th house. So for me, creativity is like my blood. It's in everything that I do. My Hecate, the asteroid, is in my 5th house. Vesta, the internal flame, is in my 5th house, right? And Ophiuchus is in my 5th house, as well as Libra. It goes Libra, then Scorpio, and then Ophiuchus. So part of Libra, all of Scorpio, and the first part of Ophiuchus are in my 5th house with all of those placements. I have a stellium. So it's like it burns through me. It is everything that I need. So, and I've said this before. Let me take a drink really quick. Hope you don't mind enjoying a nice coffee with me, guys. I really take the time to enjoy it on camera. I think I'm going to start doing that more. It just feels more relaxing. You know what I mean? Enjoying the pleasures of life. That's fire. But I don't even remember what I was saying. That's also fire, right? In my daily life, I like doing candles. I like being creative. I like expressing myself. I like enjoying my life. I take breath, and I know that that's kind of also air. It's also kind of earth, but it's also fire. It's all the elements, right? Breath is like having a passion for life and just being where I am when I am where I am. That's how I kind of see it. So let me move on, or this is going to be like forever long video. So how does the element of fire impact my passion, my creativity, and my drive? So for me, fire is my engine. It gives me those bursts of ideas that I have. Some of them burn off. I always have tons of ideas. You know, some people will get up in the mornings and they're just like, you know, I can't operate until I've had, you know, a couple of coffees. Don't talk to me until such and such a time. I am just the opposite. I will wake up from a dream at 4 o'clock in the morning and will have explored so much. Or, I mean, I don't record that early because the rest of my house is sleeping. So I have to be quiet in whatever I do. But that's when I'm researching. That's when I'm coming up with ideas. That's when I'm working on things, you know, that aren't noisy. Because that is like the most valuable time for me. It's like when the sun is rising, you know? When the sun is rising, I feel my energy. I am so in tune. I really feel like I am so in tune with our cosmos, with the things that are happening on this earth. That's why I feel so strongly the changing of the seasons and how they are not where they used to be, because it reflects in my body, it reflects in my ideas and my dreams and everything, because I'm so intrinsically connected to all of the elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Even my chart is super friggin' balanced, but it's really heavy on fire. But my moon is earth. My rising is air. My Chiron is water. And then, of course, all of my other placements, which I don't have here in front of me. Anyways. So it creates momentum for me, mental momentum. Every morning, yeah, before my feet hit the floor, I feel this deep need to create. But the practical side says, well, you can't just create without trying to make something tangible out of it. So I make a product that I can sell. So it kind of takes care of both sides of me because I am very earthy also. Okay? I'm very earthy and very fiery. So my ideas result in new businesses, products, services, series, things like that. So I feel like I get inspired all the time. I'm always inspired. Writing, speaking, designing new things. Teaching is a rough one for me. I feel like I do teach, but I want to teach from a place of just my own experiences, not from a place of authority or a place that I know more than you do. I'm just, sometimes it comes across that way because I am a very confident individual. But it really just comes from a place of wanting to share the excitement of something that I just learned, or wanting to help somebody if what I've experienced resonates with them, that kind of thing, you know. Fire is discernment. Let me see. So, yeah, I would say I feel when something is not aligned. It's like intuition. I feel like it's not just water. I feel like when it's gut and it's instant, I feel like that's kind of fire also, right? Um, let's see. I'd say that's good. Let me go on to the next question. When your inner fire dims, what practices help rekindle it? Okay, so for me, rarely does my inner flame dim anymore. Why? Because I have learned my own self. I learn what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Although that is a continual evolution, you know, I learn new things all the time because I am open to learning new things about myself all the time. I try to pay attention to my patterns. I don't like to be stifled. I am so terrible at doing lists and then keeping to them because I feel like that's too structured. And I like being inspired like all the time. So anything that I do that's planning, that's like long term, I usually rebel against it unless I recognize that in myself and then I can stick to it, right? But I do eventually like want out of the obligation anymore. So like a good example of that is Star. Star was the very last one in the yearly collaborations that we did because I started this collaboration in September. Really, it was in August, but it was just a private group of us. It actually started in September of 2023. Is that right? Yeah. And worked through November of 2025. No. Yes. No. It was September of 2024 through November of 2025. I'm terrible at time. So that was what? 15 months of September or October, November. Yeah, okay, so that was 14 months of planned collaborations with the community, different things. And although I thought it was hugely beneficial, it's not something that I necessarily want to do it like that again. just because it was so time consuming and I felt towards the end of it really restricted from it. Anything that is too encompassing feels restrictive to me. That is my fire. So I just course correct. So this next year, if we do something, which I have something that I'm thinking about, but I don't know because there are big changes that are going to be coming to my channel, which I will talk about probably once I'm done with, you know, a lot of the other obligations that I still had. This is one of them because I wanted to support every single one of the people that collaborated in the community collaborations. And so I need to finish these. And I've got a few book reviews that I need to finish. But then I'm going to have a talk with this channel and let people know the new direction that this channel is taking and how my life is changing and my the direction that I'm going with everything. So anyways, what helps me rekindle is just like downtime, because I can burn myself out if I'm not careful. So even when I did my jewelry business, I get stifled by working on one project at a time. I have like a million, well, not a million, I'm over exaggerating, but I would have like 10 different projects that I was working on. So I had trays and I had half trays. I would put everything that I was using in that particular item, especially because my jewelry, a lot of the bead weaving that I did, it becomes monotonous, especially because it was long hours of sewing. And it was so highly fulfilling, but at the same time, I would get bored doing the same damn thing. So I would switch between like 10 different designs. Now, if you're not organized enough, and I love organization, which is not a, real good fire sign, okay? But I'm a Virgo moon. So that helps me. I'm good at organizing because I know myself and know what I need to do in order to be productive. So I would put everything into little areas so that I could easily pick something up, put it away, and pick up something else when I felt that need to shake things up, which I felt. Okay, sorry about that. Saved by the bell and cut me off. I was just chattering on. All right, let's see. So what rekindles it is just to shake things up a little bit, change direction a little bit, and take a day or two to just unwind, decompress a little bit, because I can be, if I'm not careful and don't keep myself organized and structured, I can burn myself up. So I am mindful of that, knowing myself. All right, so how do you work with the element of fire within your practice? Creation. You're looking at it, right? It is inspiration. It is, that spark. It's working with, regularly working with fire magic itself. I love burning candles and having intentions. But I also love, carnelian, right? I love, certain kinds of crystals that carry that creative spark in them. They have that energy. Colors, like red and yellow and orange, right? What insights has the fire element brought into your life? It has just really helped me see my own ability to create and understanding a lot more about myself and what drives me. And I honestly, listen, if you don't want to create, or if you like to create every once in a while, Don't compare yourself to me because I eat, breathe, and sleep. It is my fuel. I wake up in the morning with new ideas. I know that people look at me and they see all the things that I've created and they think, I don't know, she must just be creating just to make money. Yes, that is part of it, absolutely. Because my fire turns into practicality. Okay, so that is true. However, whatever jobs we do it to get paid so we can take care of our, bills and mortgage and, have food to eat on the table, take care of our animals, life, right? Live, right? So that helps me do that as well. But everything that I do comes from a place of self-expression and the need to be creating and being productive. Okay? Everything. I mean, even down to, and this might be a little bit OCD, even the way I fold my towels, I feel like it makes it prettier and easier for organization, right? Yes, that's the way my mother taught me, but it's the way I kept because I like it, right? So my dishes, when I load my dishwasher, I load them in a certain way so that I feel like it's going to get as washed in the most productive way, right? It's probably OCD. It probably is, honestly. But it has helped me see a lot of myself. The ideas, the things that inspire me, watching different things, reading things inspires me. That insight has helped me understand more of my own nature, I think, and my astrology, right? Knowing my astrology and seeing all of the stuff that I have in, like, my 5th house, and that I am a Sagittarius / Capricorn sun. It makes perfect sense when you see the things that I do every day and the way that, ideas spark. And then it's not even a want or a desire to create. It is a need. It like fuels me. It like urges me. Anyways, moving on. In what ways do you bring the glowing essence of fire into your home? Lighting, candles, the way that I decorate, it's inspiration, the way that I create, everything. It's a part of me. It's a part of the way that I dress, the way that when I do my makeup, when I do my hair. There was a video, a really good video that I would suggest that everybody watch, and that it was a live that Selena did with Bobby and Miss Tarot D. And they were talking about glamour magic. And I honestly feel like the way that we do our makeup is glamour magic. The way that we dress is glamour magic. The way that we decorate our homes, the way that we set up our sacred spaces, the way that we move through life is the way that we want to be perceived by others. It's all glamour magic. In the mundane, we all do glamour magic all the time. Even though it doesn't seem like it might be glamour magic, it absolutely is, because it is a projection of how other people see us, right? By the way that we live, by the way that we decorate, by the way that we look, all of it, the whole kit and caboodle. So, all right, let's see. Is there a new fire-inspired practice that you're looking forward to trying? I am already doing it. And that is the death practice that is going on over at my Patreon. And I feel like this death practice, it's a whole year-long practice. It started last month. And it's working through probably November of this year now, of 2026. And in order for there to be new growth, we have to let certain things go, releasing, right? It feels like burning fields so that new growth can come from that, right? Scorched earth creating new growth. So finally severing and finding closure in death feels like it leaves room for new growth, rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes. Because death is so final, right? Well, some death is so final. Well, I mean, it all is final if you keep it that way, because there's many different forms of death, right? And we're going to be exploring those in this death practice as well. Just like ending relationships, that the person is still alive, it's just a severing of a relationship. That is a death. That is a burning off of and allowing space for regrowth. How does that affect us? That kind of thing. So that is the new practice that I am really looking forward to, because I think that there is new growth that comes from that, and understanding and compassion and knowing thyself, really. And that's what I'm all about. Find your Zen, right? I think the only way we can find our Zen is to burn off all the other. So to burn off anything that's not that. So I know that this was kind of rambly. I apologize, but I don't apologize. That's the fire in me. I love you guys. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I've got air and water to do yet. I will see you on the next one.